Hello everyone, welcome to the Advancement Centre and welcome to the world of magic and miracles. Once again, we gather for some unknown reason, for some purpose that will push us ahead a little bit more. And I think today we all realise that there's a genuine flow of well-being coming into everybody's life. As this develops, you will understand a lot more about what your physical power is, and it's nothing to do with pushing walls over. It's to do with penetrating into the unknown and bringing back the gifts you have for this world. Your ability to bridge the gap of magic is starting to show. The fact that you can insert your field into the field of anybody else to enhance their operation is becoming more and more obvious every day as you assist people just by being present. The interaction between one another is now much smoother and there's no need to even develop any systems to cope with our formal interactions. Our definition of love has gone to pieces because the love that comes from the universe and brings itself into the field of the people around you is way more powerful than anything you ever considered. It can allow someone to walk when they can't walk. It will allow them to feel well-being in a true sense. It will allow them to rise up when they're down. It also activates that thing I've been talking about for a long time, your own engine. Because you are delivering to others, there becomes a demand that comes through your field and your engine turns on. And you deliver what they need without even asking what they need. It happens automatically, and it's never ever a strain on you or anybody else. So the automatic part of us is starting to take on the simplicity that we always understood was part of our life. There are no do's and don'ts. There's only a perfection of the flow that you feel in every minute. So as someone turns up in your field, you will feel yourself elevated. You don't even have to see them. You might realise as you're walking along or in the middle of the night, you had a sudden thought of someone. You may not even know their name. But you'll feel your own engine switch on. You'll feel your energy field pulse. You'll feel an excitement that allows something special to go through your field into somebody else's. Even a tree will look better after you walk past. So once we decide to live without restriction, we don't even know what restriction is, because the simplicity has taken over. And the thing that you've all tried to define as love actually penetrates everything. It penetrates the greatest of barriers, which is a person. A brick wall or a steel wall cannot stop your field. Another person in the past has been able to. But now it doesn't matter. It goes straight through. It doesn't even have an effect on you or them. Because of its clarity, there is nothing to hang on to. It simply enhances everything in your life, even if your brain says, I don't want to. So you'll find people around you that have decided to shut down actually becoming bright. Because the simplicity is, that's your natural state. So your natural state is to deliver without any work, without any effort, at a rate that's determined not by you, but by everything around you. So the further you spread yourself, the better you'll feel. The more active your being becomes, and the healthier your body becomes. There is no need for anything to protect you because you're delivering. You don't even get involved. It's the system that keeps you alive, and it's made up of a million different energy fields from all over, even from the person that's gaining from yours. Complex interaction is so simple in the universe that nothing is left out. So you'll find that as we keep going, the thought patterns just fall over. You've got nothing to hang on to. Because you're so active with everything that's really happening, you don't have to make anything up. You feel everybody, you interact with everyone, even though you can't see them. There are many, many millions of people connected to each one of you every minute. They're not all from here. They're from a lot of other places. And as that interaction increases, you'll start to see those people from other places. You'll feel them in the room, and eventually you'll see them in the room. Not with your eyes, but with the other part of you that you never thought worked. The bit that knows somebody's around the corner. Because there is a way of seeing it. It's an instantaneous connection to every part of the universe. That's why I say, really, you're everywhere. And I can take you to any place you like, and in an instant, you know you're there. And you don't get enough time to imagine. When I say you're up in a plane, you're on a train, you're at your mother's place, you're down the road, you're buying an ice cream, it just all pops out because you're there. There is no time to imagine. Every place you've ever been on this earth, there is another place that's almost identical that belongs to you. And it's not a vision, and it's not made up. It's the real part that doesn't change. They take away that image on earth and you can put it back again instantly. I really love the one that I always remember, that's sitting in school having to do a mundane task and actually be running around the beach. Then all of a sudden find yourself woken up by some bash on the desk or around your ears to say, stop daydreaming, get on with what you're doing. And in fact, you did everything that you're supposed to do, probably better than you would have if you were sitting at the desk taking notice. That in my life is real every day, in every instance. And if you look at it yourself, the second you go for a walk that's any more than 10 feet, you find yourself somewhere else. Or if you're active in the kitchen on tasks that you can do easily, you're somewhere else. Or a bit of music comes on, boom, you're in another place. The more you live with that, the greater the interaction of all the fields, and the better your system works. So we're really, really interested now in allowing everyone to break through into that place where there's no load on you, where before you demand anything, it's already there, where the interaction with people is just a normal dance. It's not something you have to prepare for, where you don't have to have a particular pattern for a particular person, where your pattern is so diverse they can pick what they want. So you're no longer controlling who you are into a little box and changing the sign every minute, each time you look at someone. You now have the whole conglomerate, if you like, of everything you can ever think of, plus more, all happening and moving all at the same time, so that the energies are generating and poking themselves out there and making them available to everyone. And they can select what they want. With that sort of interaction, there is no interpretation. Because as you interact, it comes from a place that has all the data. It doesn't allow for adding on or taking off or supposing or ifs or under these circumstances. The whole lot's there. So when we deliver our special gifts to everyone, we're not delivering it in their face. We're delivering it through fields that have nothing to do with the front-on connection that we used to have with everyone. You'll find that gradually disappearing because it took the form of stealing energy from one another. And now you're giving 10,000 times that much without any effort. Why would you need to steal? You want some more energy for yourself? Just give some more away. It's not linear, it multiplies by a tremendous amount, what you get from what you give. And that's where the science sort of got us all a bit mixed up, where we felt that it had to do work to produce something. We're magic. We do the opposite. The less work we do, the more happens. But you'll notice when you don't do any work, you're still moving, you're still interacting, you're still having fun, you're still chasing your spirit, you're still disturbing things, you're still looking for something to do, but you're still doing nothing in the old terms. So the less you do in the old terms, the more you'll find you're doing with the magic. So the magic of actually being able to transpose yourself from where you are to wherever you want to be and not coming back, it's really something to do. You need to go and sit with somebody, you do it. And you leave yourself there as long as you like. All your system will change to support the multiple presence. And in the long term, you'll start to look after those people that you need to look after without actually being there. And they will know you're doing it. You can help people walk down the stairs and walk up the stairs. And they're 50 miles away. You can help someone track to where you are just by connecting to them when they're driving. You can give them the confidence and the comfort that they know what they're doing without saying a word. The more we work with this, the quicker it'll be for us to just step straight through into that area where we can do anything we want. And you must remember, as we move forward, when I say you can do anything you want, you probably won't want to do what you want to do now. Because once you've done something, you don't want to keep doing it again. You just want to do something new. So it's always progressive and it's always new. So you can't rip yourself off or anybody else by working magic to manipulate something. It doesn't work, because by the time you try to work the magic on something that you have in mind, it's gone. Work the magic on what's coming. Work the magic on the fact that why should you have to worry about what you need? Why should you have to determine it? It's already determined for you. Your body's made that way. Your system's made that way. It knows. Why have we got to keep reminding it? There's nothing on this earth that can change a person's mind about what suits them, unless something better is presented. So keep presenting something better. Then you don't even have to have a mind about anything. As you present something better to yourself every minute and every second and every moment, you'll realise that it's a little bit like a game of tennis. If you stand in one spot, they're going to hit you with the ball, and you're never going to be able to play the game. The more you move, the better the game, the easier the game, and the more skillful you become. So the more you move in life, the better you enjoy the game and the more skillful you become. And where we're going from here, you don't really want to know, you just want to go there. Because if you try to know, you have to stand still. You have to determine something that you know now, and therefore you can't have anything new. So just keep going, follow your spirit, and watch the magic flowing around you every second. We've been doing a lot of things with a lot of people, but the greatest thing that we do is just to connect and to allow you access to the possibilities that you've always wondered about, and to know that it's yours and it's in your field. You don't need anybody else to supply it. You don't need to do anything. It's just yours. So as we step forward, the newness that you get is not the same as the newness that anybody else gets. And that's why I'm so very interested in everything that happens to everyone. Because it's not going to happen to me. What happens to me happens to me. What happens to all of you is absolutely brilliant. And to see the light in your eyes as you do something that pleases you is absolutely amazing. It's just like you can sit and watch sparkling lights all day. You can watch the fire and never have to go anywhere else. I can watch people and never have to do anything else. And I watch you all from a whole different place to what you imagine. People who thought I'd forgotten about them, it's not true. I forget names because I don't know people as names. I know people as people, as a unique character that's not attached to a name. And so, unless you're wearing something, I'm liable to forget your name, but I never forget anybody. Because I'm totally connected to each one of them, each one of you, and everyone I've ever met, plus all those that I haven't. So I wake in the middle of the night, and it's just a total buzz. There's all these connections happening. and I'm almost lifting off the bed. Because when you get in that half sleep mode, you don't stop the natural integration of all our fields. And because that's where I live, quite often you can feel my whole body vibrating. Not just a little bit, a lot. And the interaction is not direct, it's around me. It can't do anything except improve your whole situation. So when we walk around in the next few weeks, coming towards Christmas, you'll get a bit of a Christmas spirit, if that's what you enjoy. But I think more than that, you'll feel that we're coming on a time that we waited for. It was introduced some time ago, but we really haven't felt it. We're now breaking through all barriers to where we have facilities available to us that are totally foreign, to where we can actually make a difference. And we don't have to make a difference in the form of somebody else's opinion. We just make a difference the way we know we can make a difference. Like if you have green paint, you can look at it and say, that's beautiful. But if you paint green paint all over somebody that said it's beautiful, they'll tell you, go away. It looks horrible. Because it's beautiful where it is, what it's doing, and how they viewed it. As long as it's available, it may not ever need to be used. So your gifts can be in the form of something that's beautiful. They don't have to be painted up on the wall. They don't have to be displayed through our systems. They just have to be. And if somebody wants some, they take what they need and they put it where they want it. So the past practices of imposing, might I say, green paint on everyone will actually be seen as something that you don't even bring to mind. You welcome what you've got and you don't try and paint it on anyone, because they know before you do, from the brightness of your eyes, the brilliance of your aura, and the projection that you're sending to them and around them. So what I intended to do today was just to allow a conversation and to let that special energy of love seep into all your worlds in a way that it sneaks up on you, so that it lifts you. It changes nothing, but it makes everything more comfortable. It makes everything work properly, and it achieves everything you've ever wished for. And in letting that seep into everybody's field, I can guarantee it's permanent. It will never go away. It will never ease off, and it will never fail. So as each person needs to use that beauty, even as an energy, it's available right in your own field. It's like filling your pantry. It's all there. You don't have to use it if you don't want to. But when you go there and have a look, you'll say, ah, good, I'll have some of that, or I'll have some of that. And you close the door and forget about it. But with a permanent flow of universal love that is nothing like anything that's ever been described, you will achieve exactly what you intend to achieve in the rules that don't exist by the use of magic and miracles under the control of simplicity. Each time we talk about simplicity, it starts to become more of a reality. But now it has to be used. The second you get a signal to go and do something, wait those 2 seconds and see if it's actually done for you. Because instead of you taking notice of the signal, that supercomputer of yours will take notice of the signal and have it done before you can get there. A slight inflection is all that's needed, and not even an intention, but just a fleeting intent or a possibility, and it just keeps going. The simplicity is that powerful. Anybody who's ever owned a dog, you've only got to intend to go and get the paper or intend to go to the kitchen, they're there. Intend to get something to eat, they're there. Cats the same. They're standing at their bowl or they're up on the counter and you haven't moved yet. If they can do it, you can. You're actually working outside the limits of time and outside the limits of standard communication. And it's so easy, so relaxing, so fulfilling that you're all the time wondering what's going to happen next. So as we move towards a short break, I'd like to just leave you with smoothness of the energy of today and the expansive feeling of your connection with everybody in the world and in the universe. Your ability to connect to everything and everyone is that gift that's encompassed in that sense of love for everyone and everything. So as you have a break, move around smoothly, easily, and with such power that nothing either gets in your road or disturbs the feeling. So thank you. We'll be back in about 5 minutes to talk about more new things. Welcome back. Well, during the break you probably moved around a little bit and found things were a little bit different. Not much, but enough. And that's all we're after. That tiniest little bit of difference will amplify in everything you do every day of your life. For a very short time, you'll be looking for the sensation. But after a while, you'll feel that it's a companion. It's part of your life that you can wind up or down in a moment's notice. So when the world comes in at you, you can either wait for it to respond, or you can say, turn it up. And it will change everything that comes into your field. After a while, it's best if you just leave it to run by itself. And you'll feel it adjusts on demand. It adjusts its effectiveness on the demand of the world. And because of that, you don't have to worry about the ups and downs of life. They just come and go. You watch them, you feel things change or people assist you at times when you never even thought it was going to happen. And as a result, the ups and downs of life are a little bit distant from you because you're going up and down at a much higher rate, and the average is up. You're improving every minute. You have highs. You never have lows. You have less highs. And it's because of that quietening that has to happen for normal growth. In everything, you have seasons, you have winds that come and go, you have things that move backwards and forwards, and they're never linear, but they're always improving. If you know now that there's a possibility of everything improving every second of every day, it will, because it obeys your sense. Many years ago, I was on a camp living out in the high mountains in Melbourne, in log cabins, for a week of getting to know how things work in the world. And one of the people that were there was had lived with an Aboriginal elder for many years. And he took us through getting in touch with just you call it the forest here, it's the bush over there in Australia. So getting in touch with the bush and all the elements, including the ground. How when you walk, you don't leave an imprint. When you walk, even on twigs, you don't make a sound, because you're disturbing the natural status of everything around you. And as we got good at it, it became second nature. You started to walk differently. You didn't chatter in the middle of a beautiful scene. As the wind came, you went quiet to listen. As the energies of the trees came up, you accepted them. And then one evening, we decided that the next night would be time for us all to gather around a fire. at a special place where you couldn't do any damage. But unfortunately, it was raining such that everything was flooded. It was coming down in big lumps, and had been for maybe a day. And all this person said, take no notice of anything around you. Don't disturb anything, but remember you're the master. And if you want to have a meeting at this location in the bush at this time tomorrow, you have the meeting. And if you all agree, you watch what happens. So we all agreed, and we met in the same place that next night. It's still pouring, water up to your ankles. And we sat down, and he said, so now, let's see your mastery. Get the picture, and let's walk. So we all got the picture. There's 12 of us. We walked out the door. It was totally dry. Even the ground was dry. We walked up the hill that you couldn't get up before because it was just total mud. It was perfect. The grass was dry. We sat down. We had the fire. We had a slight meditation and a bit of a sing-song. And then we walked back, walked in the door, down it came again. None of us even got wet clothes from sitting on the grass. So that's around 12, 13 years ago. So I've experienced how the world and everything in it will obey exactly what you want as long as you have no intention of disturbing anything or anyone. It will change for you. And if there's somebody else walked into that space, they would get wet. This is the miracle that we're playing with. Several times since then, that's happened to me, where I've been walking along in the rain and not got wet. And you don't even realise until somebody says, you're not even wet. You go, oh, okay. So it's not a desire. It's if that's the most suitable thing for you at the time, simplicity takes over. And make sure that whatever's happening around you fits what's going to happen next. So each time I've remained dry, there was no reason, except I found afterwards, if I'd have been wet, I couldn't have done what I was doing. I would have had to go and get changed. So we're now dealing with the physical world from a point of real magic. I've demonstrated many times how the field of the earth will come up and lift you if you ask it to. If you're walking up a hill, you can throw your energy forward and drag yourself forward. You can tell the energy to rise up underneath your backside and take the load. You can be totally exhausted and ask it to just come up and lift you. It will. Many thousands of things I can relate. But I want you all to experience all these unique things yourselves. If it comes to you as a fleeting idea, try it. If it doesn't work, do it another way. But don't struggle with it, and don't attempt to do the impossible without succeeding. That sounds a little harsh, doesn't it? Attempting does not work. You do it, or you don't do it. You don't do half magic. You don't do half of anything. Even though the world has taught you that that's the way everything is. It's really hard work to fail. You have to set up all these circumstances so you can. But if you simply work with simplicity that has a single outcome for a single action, and the outcome can be 1,000,000 times more complex than the action, then it'll work. It will never fail. So that the use of simplicity for your future life and how interesting it is something I can't emphasize enough. But it's not serious. Have you ever seen the simplicity of a child disappear when they get serious? When they're not serious, they're simple, they're easy, they move quickly, they follow their spirit, they have fun, and they play all the time. That's how we were meant to be. So when we look at the practicalities of life, as we've been taught, it's necessary to abandon it all. And that sounds like a radical move. Of course it is. Abandon it all. Watch what comes next. Watch what comes next. Abandon everything that you thought you were supposed to do and see what happens. You'll end up walking around with a big smile on your face, so light, so easy to get along with, able to do anything, and you have all the new projects in the world because you're not concentrating on it. You're not trying to find something on the internet that's out of date. You're finding it out there because it's new. You're not looking everything up, checking out everything that's been laid out for you. You're going, right, oh well, let's do whatever comes to us. And then you find you're absolutely brilliant. We've been making some little things because we're getting a lead from the scientific side of things, but we're also applying what we know to make little gadgets to help people, to make electricity, to, well, whenever anything goes wrong, like kick your toe, or you cut yourself or burn yourself, we just stick a nanoplate on it. Or we help one another in ways that we've never tried before. And yeah, it's quite acceptable for you to tell someone, oh, your energy's a bit low, here, use mine. And yours will go whoosh. And they'll be fine. And you just walk off like kids would. You don't even think about it. If you've ever seen two kids playing with a doll and one wants a particular doll, the other kid will just grab three and say, here, have them. You've got three instead of one. And they just race off and keep playing. They know what to do, as long as you're not watching. If you're watching, they'll try and follow what they're reading from you. So to abandon that aspect of ourselves, where we think someone's watching, so we've got to fit what we read, seems to be a big step. But with what I've delivered today, it's not. It will just melt away. Because you'll just start sending that same love to them, and all that interactive signal becomes clear. And there is no watching. There's just a beautiful enhancement of one another's being. When we started experimenting with all the stuff that the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute is playing with, we discovered that all the things they were telling us were guidelines. All the materials, we used different materials because that's what we could get, and it felt better. And in the long term, when it came to testing the final output of each unit, we worked as good as the most scientific, but we used household products, plumbing supplies, all the junk that was around us, because we had the feeling that we knew what we were doing. And even our mistakes. I remember Kathleen made some GANs and it went all red, and she said, "Oh, I'll have to throw that out." I said, "Don't you dare. That's exactly what I want." And that's been the most powerful centre for our plasma beacons that support people, not just power in the house. So our plasma beacon holds so many things steady for so many people, and we've all got a connection to those beacons. If we've made anything in our little shed, laboratory if you'd call it, it remains connected, and I can prove it because I can tell what's happening with everybody, and I can feel the beacons fire up, because what they do is they provide what people need. They don't do anything unless you need something, unless there's a demand. So if a little bit of a strain comes on your being and you don't even know what it is, I can feel the beacon really come to life. And our power units are working nicely in the house. We're saving on our electricity bill, but we can't prove it yet because you've got to wait till next month. But we've got lots of things running. And we made a little tiny single unit so that it should be great for the grandmothers to just run their light and any small thing that they need. So we're going along pretty well. No idea when we're going to do anything more than that. But I know because we're doing this, other people will venture into areas like we are to support themselves in ways that you never thought of. All the little things that you've ever built, even with crystals, have values and they have power. And we don't have to prove it, because you show it to somebody and their eyes nearly pop out. That's the value in it. And as we start to interact a lot, that will build that entity I'm talking about that's going to support us all. We will have not only products, but unique products, unique to people's energies, and they'll all have lots of value. And we'll all want one that was built by somebody else. And so it will start that interaction of valuable goods and of value seeking in people. I'm pretty sure that into early next year, this will become a very big reality. And it won't be long before we're all wanting to interact at a much higher level on a daily basis. So our communication systems, the hidden ones I'm talking about, are very important because they're the only ones that are going to be fast enough to pass the information between us all in a way where we're excited about what we're doing and we know it's coming from our connection with everyone. So as that grows, we grow and we become a force to be reckoned with. So I look forward to that, and I'm sure we'll have lots of plans that we'll tell you about that will change, and lots of things that we expect that don't happen. But at the same time, there are many, many things that are happening that we never knew about before. Out of nowhere, we've achieved some amazing things that we don't have any explanations for, but we know they've taken us places. And they have tremendous use and tremendous power. And everything has a component of well-being in it. And that's the magic and miracles and simplicity. And you can feel it even in the smallest product. It makes you feel better. It makes you want to do things. It makes you want to really live a long, long time. And I'm sure that's about to happen. We will understand that we're going to really live a long time. So we'll use all these gifts we have to enhance our being and our bodies and our life so that we're good for another 100 years or more. So on that note, I think we'll call it a day. Thanks very much for listening, and I'm excited to catch up with you again next week. Bye.